All right, I was supposed to go into the office today, but plans completely changed. Instead, I'm going to do that tomorrow. We are going to go to Busch Gardens as a family, which is always fun. But I wanted to take a moment and spend a little time with you on our chapter for today. Let's see, where are we at? Chapter 8. Chapter 8, Question Popular Thinking. Went through this chapter this morning and, had a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you, but let's open up with what John Maxwell says at the bottom of page 81. If you value popularity over good thinking, then you will severely limit your potential to learn the type of thinking encouraged in this book. What he says is that if you crave being popular, if you crave everyone liking you, then you're probably just going to go in the direction of average. But if you want to really learn how successful people think, you kind of got to go against the current. He says then on page 83, the problem with popular thinking is that it doesn't require you to think at all. What I wrote here is too many people are stuck going with the flow. In fact, the page before that had all of these twos: too average, too inflexible, too traditional, too limiting. Here's three that I underlined: too small, too satisfied, and too shallow. A lot of times our thinking is too small. We're scared to think big. It's too satisfied. You know what? I'm just comfortable right here, right now, and it's too shallow. We got to toss ourselves into the deep end. That's why I think we all need a B.H.A.G, a big, hairy, audacious goal. That was one of the thoughts as I was reading this chapter. Thank goodness I have a B.H.A.G. Big, right? Too small. We want to overcome that with a big. Too satisfied. No, I want an audacious. And too shallow. No, I want a goal that takes me into the deep end. The hairy is kind of a bonus, right? It should be really scary. What's your B.H.A.G? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal that keeps you from thinking small, satisfied, and shallow? It's a good thing to think about. When people blindly follow a trend, they're not doing their own thinking. Why? Because they're looking for safety and security. They're looking to just go the way that has the least resistance in it. This is the trend. Everybody's doing it. Well, if you want to think like successful people think, you got to do something different. On page 85, it says, sometimes it's painfully obvious that popular thinking isn't good and right. Right? Painfully obvious. Everybody's going that direction. That doesn't look like a direction I want to go in. Other times, it's a little less evident. Consider the people who are in credit card debt. I love that section because I think it's a really good illustration about people going with the flow. They see something on social media, oh, this person's taking that vacation, or they see something where somebody has bought a new tech or a new toy and they go, oh, I want to have that, even if they haven't been disciplined to save the money. So what do? They go in debt. They charge it once, twice, 3 times. Maybe that doesn't catch up with them. But on their 5th, 6th, 12th time, when they don't have the funds to pay for what they're doing or what they're having, then they get into a little bit of trouble. It made me think of Dave Ramsey. He says, live like no one else so you can live like no one else. Sometimes you got to make decisions that are against the grain, that don't flow in line with everybody else. If everybody else is racking up credit card debt, you got to do something different. You got to make a conscious decision to get out of debt and to stay debt-free. And sometimes that means you have to think unlike how other people are thinking right now. On page 86, John Maxwell says, popular thinking brings mediocre results. And then he shows us how you question the acceptance of popular thinking. Gives a number of things. 2 of them really stuck out to me. Number 1, think before you follow. It made me think of that herd mentality video. There's a video I saw years ago about people in an elevator. And I think it was a psychological experiment maybe, but everybody was facing the wrong way of the elevator, so the door opened and people would walk in and they would turn the normal way facing the door, but then they would see everyone else facing the wrong way. And what would they do? They'd go, oh, well, I want to be like them. I seem like the odd person out. And they'd turn around and they'd face the wrong way. It's an experiment to see how many people followed the herd. I think a lot of times we do that because of the fear of rejection. That's what I highlighted there. Many individuals follow almost automatically because we think it's what we're supposed to do. We think just because everybody else is doing it, it must be right. But sometimes we have to look for what's best, not what's popular. And that comes with asking ourselves great questions like, why is everybody standing that way? So number 2, on here was try new things in new ways. One of the best ways to get out of your rut in your own thinking is to innovate. I love that. Try something new. You'll never know if it works. You'll never know if you like it. You'll never know if it's the best way unless you're willing to try. I think I said this a few videos ago. One of the ways that I know organizations aren't moving forward is if I hear that's not my job and we've always done it this way. We've always done it this way. When I hear that, I know they are stuck in their ways, that innovation is not happening. And the more the organization that grows, the better chance that they are going to get left behind. So unpopular thinking asks questions and seeks opinions. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Where am I stuck in common thinking? I actually wrote that in the margin one of my pages, and I started just making some notes on some things that I've just done for so long, and I haven't questioned why I do them that way. And maybe I adopted popular thinking early on, and I've just continued down that road. I'd like to maybe try new things in that area. Maybe it comes down to asking the right questions in that area of life or business. I like the way that John Maxwell closes this chapter. He says, in your early years, you won't be as wrong as people think you are. In your later years, you won't be as right as people think you are. And all through the years, you will be better than you thought you could be. That's the value of questioning popular thinking. Well, I hope that helped you. I'm going to now head to Busch Gardens. I'll see you tomorrow.